Jay, maybe just to begin, Cam Hebig, what did you notice between his first half of the season and the second half of the season last year? He started quite strong, and then he talked a bit more about preparation and longevity in his game. Just what did you see from Cam in terms of first and second
Well,
half?
when you look at his year on the whole, it's a pretty good first professional hockey season. And I didn't know much about Cameron before rookie camp last year, but as we progressed from rookie camp to main camp to the start of the Bakersfield Condors season, he was the type of guy that just showed up in every good clip for the coaching staff when we reviewed the game. He works hard. He has a good skill set. He's got an excellent shot. He found ways to contribute in all areas of the game. He was on the power play, penalty kill. And I would agree with his assessment. His first two and a half months of the season were lights out for us. He was a trusted player. And then, as a lot of young players in that league find out, the pace of play ramps up around the 25 game mark, and it ramps up again around the 45 game mark. And at the 60 game mark, teams are really humming. And for him, it was a learning experience to understand the level of strength, the level of stamina, the ability to be physically and mentally ready for that type of grind. I think he's a much better player today for having gone through that. I know that he was an important player on our team last year, and he gained invaluable experience.
Is Saffin's size an advantage, or does it get him away because he's so big in today's game?
Oh, I think it's anytime you have size, that's something that you can't teach in anybody. So that's it gives him range. It gives him the ability to hold off defenders by just using his length to keep the puck away. He has some nice skills that he showed. And I thought in the first period he had a couple good chances there. We're looking forward to seeing him and the rest of our group take a step, and that's been the message right from day one here to these young guys, is that we're not concerned so much about the polish of everything or the execution of the systems. It's about taking a step and getting better every day, and we had a good practice today. I thought the group got better, and we're looking forward to do that tomorrow.
Marody off just for precautionary sake? Can he play Tuesday?
Yeah, I think it's more
He hadn't got hurt last year, that's why I'm asking.
precautionary sake. It was more bump and bruise, and we just held him off today. There was no need for him to on that short turnaround to come on today. We'll see where he's at tomorrow.
Now, Bouchard showed last night where he was clearly like the best player.
Mm-hmm.
Is that because he's the best player, I guess, or how do you, he's looked pretty calm and
Yeah.
collected, like a lot of rookies
Yeah.
are running over. He's pretty.
He looked a cut above last
Yeah,
night
yeah.
in a lot of ways. He was what I know about him just in my brief experience in last year's rookie camp, and then when he came to join the team in Bakersfield, is that he has things in his personal game that are hard to teach. He has a few gifts to his game to where they're not just good, they're elite in certain aspects, specifically on the offensive side of the puck. Elite as compared to his peer group. And for me, what I didn't know about this young guy was his ability to get information and apply it without having to run through 200 different reps to get the feel for it. He can take in information, process what's happening in front of him in the game, and make it work for him. So I thought that was a real positive thing about him that I didn't know. What I've learned about him coming into rookie camp here is the type of work he put in the summertime. Wow, this guy's in phenomenal shape. What he's trying to do is give himself every chance to compete for a spot on the back end in Edmonton. And, in the game last night, he stood out to me. And we're looking forward to him to keep getting better so that he sets himself up eventually for a good main camp here so that he can make an impression on a new coaching staff and a new general manager.
Does he have the ability that when, even if he's tired on a shift, rather than, I'll just ring around the boards, he's able to hold on to it and then make a play and then get the heck off the ice? Because he's an offensive player and he's not, he's able to outweight people and say,
Yeah.
okay, and make it a pass.
What I think he has is a low panic point with the puck. He has puck poise, where he doesn't just bang the puck around when he feels pressure or is in a tough spot. He has the ability to look at the first option. If that's closed off, he'll wait for the second option and sometimes finds the third option. So he has, like I said, I think that's one of his gifts as a player. It's what he brings to the table. And, like I said, as compared to his peer group here, it appears to be elite.
Jay, Boster is clearly a player that's not afraid to go to war. Just what are your first opinions of the player that you should be getting in Bakersfield next year?
Well, I didn't know much about Bo. This is my first exposure to him. Thing that stands out about him right off the bat is his size. So he's a forward that has length to him. Another thing you can't teach. I think last night in the game, I found a player who excelled in the face-off circle. I didn't feel worried or anxious anytime he went out to take a face-off. He was dominant in that area last night against that team. I moved him around a little bit as a chess piece. I put him on the wall sometimes. I put him on the middle. I think he competed hard and showed well in his first professional action in the rookie game last night.
So he's not used to fighting, but when he gets into a fight, is that one of those ones you say, I guess we'll see what he's got here, because college players don't fight?
Well, I thought that situation last night was a little different. I think he was set up to come off the rink and he got surprised by that, and I wasn't happy with the non-call on that. So I didn't even think they squared up there, and a guy like and so I didn't think that was, he was fine, and he showed me that he wanted to come back and play in the game. He went through the protocols and all that type of stuff, and I thought he showed a lot of character to come back in the third period and play well.
Your Wells and Skinner, if Sterrett, like last year, plays maybe 50 games out of 60, are you looking for the other guy to rotate them back and forth to Wichita so that one guy they're both playing, or would you rather have one guy in Wichita playing the whole season and your backup is in the backup of the American League?
I think that situation's going to play itself out. I wouldn't write in Sharpie a certain amount of games for anybody. I think I've said this before, that I think the position of goaltender is a real source of strength for the organization. I thought both those guys that went in last night acquitted themselves great. I feel good when they're in the net. Like I said in the past, we've shown the confidence to put those guys in tough situations. I think those three guys will sort out who's going to get the minutes in the net, and the way they're going to do that is by showing us what their play. So I'm not going to write any certain amount of games in for individuals and whatnot. They'll show us by their play of who wants to seize the net.
Bo seems more of a talker than Shane.
Yeah, he's a different character, eh? They're both unique in their own ways, but they're good. They come from a nice family, and they're a hockey family and a sports family, and it'll be interesting to see how they progress here going into main camp.
Bo says he wouldn't have any part of being in the Air Force. That is not a chance.
Yeah. It was funny because Shane told the group a story last year of how when he committed to go to Air Force, he hadn't been there, didn't know it really, and his first exposure to it was when he went in the summertime, and it was an interesting story, to say the least. He was in for quite a shock, but it allowed him to play a high level of Division I hockey, advance on in his personal career, and ended up being a good decision for him and led him to where he's at right now.
You signed Peluso. Is that because in that league you still need one, like Poli last year, I guess, before you got Pierre?
Pierre Cedric,
You still need that with all the young. You need one guy who.
Well, I think you need ingredients, but when I say that, the toughness ingredient in today's game, you have to be able to take a shift. You have to be able to contribute. And I mean, you look at Evan Poli. he played so well for us last year that he'd earned himself an NHL contract. So, and even Pierre Cedric played well for us and gave us good minutes. I think with Peluso coming in and being signed by our organization, number one, he's a player with a good number of NHL games under his belt. So he's a seasoned professional. He's serious about his personal development. He wants to be a good hockey player on a good team. And, he does represent an element of toughness that I think for our young group of forwards allows them a little bit of time and space and allows them to feel good. And I think at that level you do need players who represent that ingredient.
That in a rookie game.
Well, you know what?
Because you didn't dress a guy last night who's obviously Evan Poland.
Right, yeah, but you know what? I didn't think. I thought our guys stood in there just fine. Yeah, and for me, our focus right now is, like I said, we want this group to take a step with their play to set themselves up going into main camp here, continuing on that theme of maximizing their daily opportunity.